Well, hello there, everyone, and good morning. I'm so happy to see you all today. And here's what I can tell you: is there's a few people on here that are going to get what you need today, and so I'm excited that I get to share just some things that I've learned along the way, some truths, some information. And the focus of today is really how you guys can all explode your business in the first 90 days of 2020. Y'all know that the year 2020 is going to be a really special year. I mean, when we think of like, if you go to the optometrist, and you have 2020 vision, what's that mean? It means you have perfect vision, right? So the year 2020 is the year of perfect vision. And so for those people that have clarity on what you want in 2020, you're going to be able to achieve it. And this vehicle of It Works that we have is just such an absolutely amazing vehicle. So I'll give you the quick background. My wife's birthday is tomorrow, so I literally got up at 3:30 this morning and drove her and three of her friends to the airport. They're going to Naples, Florida. There's like six of us there. My counterparts that normally do these Zooms with me, they're on their way to Costa Rica because they're both in the top 20 of the company. So if you guys are finding out about this for the first time, Tuesdays and Thursday mornings, we go live typically in the It Works Personal Development Facebook page group. So if you are already in the group, cool. If you're not, you can go find it on Facebook. It Works Personal Development, join. And Joel Dunn, number one earner, Tay Young, and I don't know, they're top 15 or something like that, maybe 11. And then myself, we go and we give the best that we can. And if you look through the files in that page, there's just so much value, so many resources. Every topic you could think of is in there, and you can just use the resources to take to your team and train your teams. One of the most important things we do here, and It Works, is we learn something, we do something, and we teach something. Right? That's literally all we do. We learn it, we do it, we teach it, and we do that over and over and over and over forever. Okay, so my background, I was an Army officer. I won't go too far behind that. There's more story, but so I was an Army officer. I had to go through a whole lot of stuff. I had made some bad decisions when I was younger, so it was really hard. Like if you imagine a scenario where it's as hard as possible to become an officer in the Army, that was my scenario. I had to do all this stuff and jump through all these hoops and get all these waivers, finish my degree while I was already in the Army and do all this stuff. So by the time I came out of the back end, I thought that was it. I thought that was my path, right? That I was going to do that for the rest of my life. Well, in 2012, my wife had a friend who had had her sixth baby. She has nine now. She had her sixth, and she was using some of the It Works products, and she said she's bouncing back faster. I mean, some of you could probably agree with that, right? You had a baby, and maybe you've had multiple babies, and you started using It Works this time after, and you're finding yourself shedding weight quicker and bouncing back faster. And so that was the scenario with my wife's friend. So of course, my wife had to do some investigating, right, and figure out, figure out what was happening. So hold on one second. She's just trying to call me. Apologize, guys. Just tell her I'm zooming. Sorry. Hopefully her flight's all good. Okay, there we go. So she, we were excited. We figured out, and all we want to do in the beginning was try the products. So we were customers first. So we tried the products; they worked. So then we're like, well, other people are going to want this too. So it's just a no-brainer to join. So we joined, and in our first month we went Emerald. In our second month we went Diamond. Our goal is only like $300 to $500 a month. So we're already like four times our goal, right? So we're totally happy, and we sat at Diamond that year. I think we went Diamond October, so we sat at Diamond October, November, December, and then something happened in those 3 months. I was deployed to Afghanistan, and my youngest son, who was 2 at the time, had to have emergency surgery. And when you're in Afghanistan, you normally don't have any communication with home. But I was in an airport in between missions, and so I was in this airport, and I look on Facebook, and my wife's like reaching out, like, please pray for my baby boy. We have to go in for emergency surgery. The doctor says 50-50 chance he's going to make it. And that's like what I find out on Facebook. And so I'm freaking out, and I'm trying to call people to get my flight redirected so I could go home 7,300 miles away. It's going to obviously take a couple days to get home. And because of my commitment to the military, and because of the position I had in the military, I had to fly the wrong way And it took me 2 days to get back to where I first found out what was happening. And so on my way home, I literally mentally retired from the military. And there's a reason why I tell you this. I'm setting you up so that you understand why we were all in. Okay. So on the way home, so I got home Christmas Eve, which was so cool, of 2012. My other kids were like praying that we could be together as a family. They had no idea. So it was like one of those big reveal, daddy's home, and they loved it. And so, I got home and I was supposed to only be home for 2 weeks, and I was able to stay home, longer and take a position without deploying again. And so we were able to go to conference that year. It was our first year at conference. And so we're sitting, I hope you all are signed up for conference, by the way, because you need conference. If you don't know, just trust me, you need conference. So figure it out, get there. It doesn't matter what it costs to go. It matters what it costs you to not go. And it costs you way more. I promise, 10 times more to not go than it costs you to go. So I think it was like January 16th-ish, 2013. So I'm sitting there now at conference, and I'm mentally retired from the Army. I'm thinking, how am I going to replace our military income? Because nobody wants to like move out of your nice place into a smaller place and go from making, $30 an hour to $15 an hour. No one wants to do that. So I'm like, I have to figure out how to replace, because I think our income was around 75, 80 when I was an officer in the military. And so we'd never made six figures ever in our life. And so we're sitting at conference, and the CEO, Mark Pentecost, announces that if we're diamonds, so we're making a couple thousand. And he said if we could hit triple by the end of March, we get a $25,000 bonus. And I just remember sitting there at conference, and Jeree looked at me and she said, is that even possible? And we had just heard so many people that had already done it before us, right? And I said, you know what? Through Christ, all things are possible. And I'd always knew those words and in my head, but I never believed it in my heart until that day. And I believed it in my heart that day because I knew it was possible, because other human beings had already done it that I felt like didn't have the knowledge, some of the skill set, some of the things that I felt like we had. It was kind of like one of those situations you guys have probably all had where you say, if they did it, then I can probably do it. How many of you have felt that way before? You've met someone in the company and you're just like, you know what, if they did it, then I could do it. Here's the other thing I'll tell you. There's people in the company make $100,000 a month. So don't you think you could say, if they did it, I could do 1/10 of what they did, right? They made 50 grand. I could do 1/10 and make 5. Surely I'm 1/10 is, I can do 1/10 of the work. I can have 1/10 of the excitement. I can have 1/10, figure it out, right? When I met Blair and Melody McFarland the first time at this presentation, they said they had months where they made 100 grand. And I remember telling Jeree, if they made 100, if we could just hang out with them and learn from them, we could make 10 a month. And I was in my brain, I was thinking six figures. I want to just make six figures, which is like a little over 8,000, right? A month. So that's kind of what I was thinking. So I'm sitting there with my wife. I'm like, of course. So we came home, and in the next 101 days, so from January 16th of 2013 to the end of April 2013, our check went from 2,000 to 9,000 to 20,000 to 40,000. Okay, in 101 days. So we went from, a couple grand side money to now we have full-time income, or I'm comfortable walking away from my security and my benefits and everything that the Army offers to transition into this unknown world where we were going to start off with $40,000 a month. So what I want to do today for you, here's what's cool is that was the first time we did a 90-day run. The next year we did a 90-day run from presidential to ambassador, and our check got all the way up to $55,000 a month between Jeree's and mine. So I am so confident, like if any one of you moved in with me, I know for sure over the next 90 days, you can make at least 10 grand a month. And since you're probably not going to move in with me, and my wife probably won't let y'all move in with me, what we're going to do is today, I'm going to put it on the table. And I'm going to give you a lot of information. Some of the information I'm going to say, hey, circle that, highlight that, star that, whatever you're going to do. So hopefully you've got a notebook. If you don't, if you're in the car, you're driving and you can't focus, whatever, right now, this is being recorded and it'll be available where you can go back over it over and over and over and over. Okay. So let's jump right into this. And I'm going to try not to get sidetracked. If we have time left at the end, I would love to answer a few questions. If you guys inbox me, I'm the guy that is, if I freak out if I have too many, I have to look at them all and answer them all. So you can find me on Facebook, Chad Kneller, wherever, Twitter, Instagram, whatever. So the first thing, this is a roadmap. There's an amazing book out there called The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. And my favorite habit in that book, that's a Stephen Covey book. My favorite habit in that book is begin with the end in mind. Now, he does an exercise where he says begin with the end in mind by imagining yourself at your own funeral. Now, that's talking about beginning with the ultimate end, right? At least on this earth. So imagine here you are, and you're no one else can see you, but you can see them. You're in a funeral home, and you go and you look, and there you are in the casket, and you get to sit back and you get to hear what your kids say about you. You get to hear what your mom and dad say about you, your friends, your team, your coworkers, everybody. What's so cool is that we get to determine now if there's 2 people at our funeral or 2,000 people at our funeral by how we live our life. Okay, so that's ultimately, now let's bring it back a little bit. By March 30th, what do you want to have accomplished? 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen Covey. So by March 30th, what do you want to have accomplished? What rank do you want to be? What do you want your check to be? Okay, so you have to figure that out. Let's see here, oh, thank you. Okay, so where do you want to be? And it should be scary. Okay, every single person who sets a crazy goal, doesn't matter who that, none of us don't have any fear. Okay, no one in the world that I've ever met anyway was just like born and just like, oh, that's just one of those people. They're not scared of anything. They have the courage of a lion, and they're ready to do whatever it takes whenever. Every single person has fear. It's just only a few fight through the fear. Okay, there's only a lot of people start to feel pain, they start to feel fear, and they veer another direction because they go, I don't like that right now. I don't want to feel pain. That's why most people don't go lose the 30 pounds, because you got to go through some pain, right? You got to, you literally, when you're lifting weights and you want to build weights, you have to break things down. I mean, when we're kids and we're growing, we have growing pains. You ladies who have kids, you had labor pains. Right? And then some of you are crazy enough to go through it again because it's worth it, right? So everything I'm going to talk to you about today, the pain you have to go through, I promise you it's worth it on the other end, because the freedom, the time freedom, the financial freedom, the ability to be with the people you want to be with, the majority, all that stuff is worth it. I'm going to get this thing up because it's so weird how randomly some people just going to mute. Okay, there we go. So what I'm talking about when I say 90-day run, why 90 days? Well, first of all, there's a reason why we do 90-day challenge with the products. We know that in 90 days, people can change habits. We know you can look in the mirror and you can see change. I'm going to move. There we go. You can look in the mirror after 90 days and you can see change. People can lose, like our Thermophyte X, we have clinical studies. People can lose 31 pounds in 90 days. So some people can lose 40 or 50 pounds in 90 days. So you can see a big difference. You can feel a big difference. And what I've experienced from so many people in the company is that your team and your income can change drastically in 90 days. But to do it, you have to be all in. When I say a 90-day run, it's run for a reason. It's not 90-day, and sprint is too much, right? I can't say, hey, let's go sprint a marathon. See what I'm saying? Because we'll die, okay? But it's also not a jog and it's not a walk. So when I say 90 days, I want you to kind of think of like an airplane, right? So when you get in an airplane and you take off, you're not just like, the pilots, I don't know, do they have like a gas pedal? I don't know, the thing they pull back. But you're not just like tapping it a little bit, right? You're using the airplane has to use a lot of its gas just to get it in the air. So when I say 90 days, you're using a lot of your gas, okay? And I'll clearly define that a little bit more as we go through here. But I want you to think of, you got to have this goal because you got to be looking at it like a heat-seeking missile. Like nothing is going to distract you or take you off course for this 90 days. So it takes a little prep. Like it takes looking at your calendar and clearing your calendar and saying, for the next 90 days, I have to sacrifice, the Thursday night dinners with the neighbors, or maybe some of the play dates. You got to get the family together, and you got to say, guys, if we want to get to this goal, this big, what I call a BHAG. BHAG is a big, hairy, audacious goal. It's the one that scares you, right? you don't want to do the goal that's just like, oh, I can do that in my own strength. That won't be too hard. I'm in control of that goal. You know, Dave Ramsey says that the definition, the formula for unstoppable momentum, which is what you guys all want, right? The formula for unstoppable momentum is focused intensity over time multiplied by God equals unstoppable momentum. So focused intensity, I'm going to explain that over time, but we define the time as being 90 days. Okay, focused intensity over time. Now let me give you a scenario with this 90 days real quick, and I call this the popcorn analogy. If you, let's just say it takes in your microwave 90 seconds for popcorn to pop. Here's the problem when you stop the microwave. If you go 30 seconds and you hit stop and you start it for 5 seconds, you can't just pick up where you left off. You kind of got to start it all the 90 seconds over, don't you? To get the, I mean, try it. Just put your popcorn in there and figure out what it takes, like for your popcorn to pop, and then pull it out, do a new one, and do it for like 30 seconds and stop it for 10. Do it 30 seconds and stop it for 10, and see if the popcorn ever pops. I don't know if it does. I haven't gone through that much of it. But what I'll tell you is this. What's cool about, like with popcorn, is when the popcorn starts popping, you hear it pop, pop, it starts popping like crazy. And even when you turn the microwave off, it keeps popping for a while, doesn't it? You turn it off and you hear it keep popping. Your business is the same way. But you got to understand, during that the first 30 days, it might not feel like you're getting where you want to go. Like if you do a popcorn for the first time and you didn't know it was going to pop and someone just told you, you might put it in there for 30 seconds and go, nothing's happening. It's been 30 seconds, nothing's happening. But you haven't gone and you haven't stayed the course long enough, okay? So I want you guys to understand that you have to be all in. You have to be committed. The first word I want you to highlight is commitment. Okay, the word commitment. And what that word means is doing what you said you would do long after the feeling you said it in has left you. Commitment is doing what you said you would do long after the feeling you said it in has left you. So when you sit down your spouse and your kids and you tell them what you're going to do, it means something. Because are you committed? Are you true to your word? Or are you I don't know what word you want to use, flaky, wishy-washy, in, out? When you sit down, or when you tell the people that tell you you're never going to make it, you're never going to do it, and you message them and say, here's what I just want to let you know, here's what I'm going to do over the next 90 days. It makes it a little harder for you to quit. When you look in your kids' faces and you say, honey, we don't have the money right now, but mommy's going to work her butt off for the next 90 days, and I'm going to make enough money there where I'm going to set $2,000 to the side where we're going to go to Disney World this year for the first time. It's going to make it a little harder for you to quit. And the key is up front, when you set your goals and when you set your commitment, that you figure out a way to make it as hard as possible for you, where you're not just letting yourself down, you're letting everyone down. Because then you won't quit. See, you'll give up on yourself long before you'll give up on your kids and your spouse and the people who told you can never do it. Because here's what I can tell you. During this 90 days, there's going to be multiple days, probably multiple weeks, where you're not going to feel like doing what you know you need to do. That's the game changer, is the ones that do what they don't feel like doing later on have what no one else will have. It's really that simple, because there's a price to pay, and all things worthwhile are uphill. So you have to motor through, you have to just do it, okay? So I want to kind of set that foundation, because if you do 3 days and then you don't work a day and then you work 4 and you take off 2, you're not going to get the results that you want. You'll have frustration. You'll make a few $100s here and there. You'll have a little bit of traction, but you won't get what you want and what you'll have by doing the 90 days. You'll be like the plane that's on the runway and it never quite takes off, because maybe it gets in the air a little bit and then it goes back down. And it has to go around and curve and get on back on the runway. It goes up. You got to have the pedal to the metal long enough to get at 10,000 feet altitude, where then you can put it on autopilot for a while. I mean, like my wife and I will do 2 90-day runs a year, and then sometimes we'll take 30, 60 days where we're doing a lot more having fun than we are working. Okay, then you start to figure out that rhythm. But to get that, here's what's crazy, kind of add to the story. So that 90-day run, we got up to the 40,000. That was 2013. We've never, ever made less than multiple 6 figures with it. 2013, 2000, mute all, there we go. So every single year, we've had years that were up above 500. We had years around 300, but I mean, our budget in our life is built on a 6-figure life. So if we're making 200,000 or plus, we're doing fine. We're not worried. Life is good. Some years 500. I think we'll probably make 350, 400, something like that this year. But it's just you have to do the 90 so you can always do the 90 again. Because once you've done something once, you know what it's like, right? Like you're all probably freaking out when you had your first baby. You're like, oh my gosh, how much more can my stomach stretch before it pops, right? The first time. And then the second, third time, you're just like, oh, I remember this. And that's the same way when you develop the skill set and you go, then you know what you can do. So let me get into some of this. Okay. So what are you willing to sacrifice? The biz takes priority. Some of you got to take the television and you got to put a big fat like piece of paper on there that says, after I've done this, I'll watch my show, and just record them. Make that a reward. Don't let that, the average person watches 10 or 7 hours of television a day. And you want to use that prime time at night, 7 p.m. to 11 p.m. when most people are home and sitting on their couch watching television. That is prime time business building time. That's some of the best time to build your business is in the evening. Because maybe let the kids watch the show while you're working, in the bedroom or in the office or whatever. So, okay. So you guys get it. Some of the family, have a family meeting, get the family buy-in, make sure that the spouse gets something out of this on the back end. The kids get something out of this on the back end. And then if you're trying to take a day off, they'll be your biggest fans saying, don't you have a pop-up to do today? Don't you have some calls to make? Don't you need to be, Mom, aren't you supposed to be working on our Disney vacation? Because then you won't have the mom guilt because your kids will be like reminding you of what they get, right? For you working on the back end. So build it into that where everybody gets something that they want, your spouse, because everybody sacrifices. It's not just gonna be you sacrifice, it's gonna be your children, it's gonna be your spouse. And so everybody it has to be a win-win for everyone through the road. So the discipline, that's the next word. So I had you circle commitment. You got to circle, highlight the word discipline. Okay. And my favorite thing on discipline is Hebrews 12:11 has this awesome, amazing scripture that says, no discipline is pleasant but painful. See, that's why most people are very undisciplined, because it's painful. And we don't, if you got to choose having a baby without any pain, you would obviously choose no pain without pain. So a lot of the pain we go through, it's kind of like a necessary evil. And with It Works, we have to choose. We have to choose to go through it. With sculpting our body, when you guys see someone and they look like a movie star and they're not on steroids, right? They have been being very, very disciplined about their workouts, very disciplined about their meal plan. And it's not because they don't want to eat the bad stuff. It's just because they're disciplined. So the more disciplined you are, the easier this is going to be. So Hebrews 12:11 says, no discipline is pleasant but painful. Later on, however, it produces a harvest of peace and righteousness for those who have been trained by it. So maybe that scripture will help you. If you're a Christian on here, if you're not, these truths apply to everyone, but maybe that'll help you, just because the promise of being disciplined is peace and righteousness, and you just feel better when you're a disciplined person. And every discipline, when one area leads to the next area. So if you get disciplined in your health, then you get disciplined in your finances, and you get disciplined in your business, and you get disciplined in your personal development, and it all kind of bleeds over into each other, and it's just a win overall. So discipline is huge. It's another characteristic that's necessary to be highly successful, and it works. Okay, so let's talk about philosophy. This is just getting your mind right going into this, and then we'll get into some of the actual how-to stuff. So getting your mind right, making some decisions. So some decisions you should make is like, number one, how many times are you committed to doing steps to success each month, right? That's part of it. You can't say I'm going to make 30 grand by the end of March, but you're only doing the steps one time. It's just not going to work. I'll tell you realistically, when you look at a chart, let's say you have nobody on your team, maybe you're brand new today, or everyone on your team quit, so you're starting from scratch and you want to be diamond. Okay. So diamond on a chart is about 15 distributors. Well, you should expect that you're probably going to recruit yourself on a diamond chart at least half. Okay. So at least half. That's a good realistic expectation, because you might recruit 8 or 9 and one of them goes Ruby all by themselves. Another person you help go Ruby, and then there's 2, 3, 4 other people that recruit. So you have to be realistic and understand that you're probably going to have to do about half the distributors, about half the volume, and believe that the other half will just happen. You don't know where it's going to come, but that's the part. Remember the equation: focused intensity multiplied by time, or focused intensity over time multiplied by God, right? Here's the cool thing. Our job is plant the seeds. God's job is grow the trees. Some of the seeds get taken away. They disappear. Some of the seeds grow into these big, massive trees. We don't know who it's going to be. When I look through our team, who our triple diamonds and above are, most of them I never would have said that was the one that I thought would be triple and above. Some of the people I thought would be triple and above never made it to Ruby. You just never know. So you just treat everybody the same. You help everybody as much as you can. You plant, and you never stop planting. Okay, our job is we're planters, we're farmers. We plant seeds. Okay, so let's talk GV real quick, because this is important too. So if your goal ultimately is to be Emerald, let's just say right now you're brand new and you're like, I want to go executive in January, Ruby in February, and Emerald in March. I would say you wouldn't be on the Zoom if you wanted any less than that. Okay, so we'll just start there. So Emerald is about 9 distributors, and it's about 200 GV a day. So if your goal in January, let's just say December, if your goal this month is to go Emerald, well, you should be at, today's the 5th, so by the end of today, you want to be at 1,000 GV, right? And you can break it down into bite-sized chunks, and that's not you personally doing it, that's your whole team. If you did 200 GV a day in the month of December, then you're at 6,200, which is you need a minimum of 5,000 to be an Emerald, so you're at a pretty healthy Emerald, okay? 6,200. That's daily. What this does for you is you wake up with a daily goal. In the morning, you say, oh, my GV's right here, right? Or maybe midnight last night, you say, my GV's right here. And you say, doggone it, I'm not going to bed tomorrow night until I've found 200 GV somewhere. And then it gets your brain thinking, because you think, okay, I have distributors. Maybe I should talk to them about ordering some products. Maybe I should order some products myself. Maybe I should talk to some customers I already have. Have I told all my customers about the 3 new products that are out? Because if they knew about it, they would probably want it. So I should probably let them know, and I should probably bring in new customers and new distributors that are ordering. And what this does, this daily GV target, gets your brain focused on income producing activities, because you wake up in the morning and you go, okay, my GV has to grow, and it's something that you want to have happen every single day. So here's good daily targets. If you're going for Emerald, 200 a day. If you're going for Diamond, 400 a day. If you're going for Double Diamond, 1,000 a day. Okay? And then you can figure it out from there if you're going above. But that's just some easy numbers where you can, surely you figure it out. You go to genealogy report. There's a lot of reports, and it'll just say your GV is your group volume. That's your whole team combined. You and your orders, plus all your team and all your customers and all your distributors and everybody who orders anything, all comes up in this GV. And it's a very important number, because to promote, you have to have that number at different levels. So Emerald's is 200 a day. Emerald 200 a day, Diamond 400 a day, and Double Diamond 1,000 a day. And that will give you a very Diamond 1,000 a day. That's like 30,000 volume, really, or double. You really only need 25,000. You could do it with 15, but as a maintenance and as a healthy, more like average pay, 1,000 a day is an awesome target. Plus you're starting to get close into triple diamond volume. So that's just an easy number. You wake up and you go 1,000. I need to do 1,000. That gets you focused on the right things. Okay, urgency. That's the other thing a daily target gives you. It's easy sometimes to go, oh my gosh, I've got 25 days left in the month. I can turn it on. And in the 7 years, I can tell you what I see normally is our team as a whole will turn it on for promotions, for like those 72-hour promotions, because it's urgency, right? It's the BOGO is going to run out. The new product launch is going to run out. The end of the month, oh my gosh, I've only got 3 days. I've got to work really hard for 3 days. Well, if you attack each day with urgency, you start to get more done in a day than you used to do in a week, because you're attacking the day. You're thinking, I'm going to make each day my masterpiece. I'm going to go to bed each day knowing I did everything I could today, right? Because today matters. Today is a gift. It's the present. You got to make something out of today. We have a girl. I love this story. She was starting to kill it. As far as she almost was doing, I think 1 month, or her best month to this point was like 20 customers in a month. And she talked to her dad, and her dad said, oh my gosh, you almost did one a day. That'd be a great goal to set. She said, you know what, it would. Let me think about that. So she started doing one a day, one customer a day. And then he said, I bet if you figured out one, you could probably just do a little bit more and figure out how to do two in a day. So she put in a little, not double the work, but a little more work. And now she's getting two a day. And last year or earlier this year, she went from ruby to double diamond in 3 months. And one of those months she did steps 10 times. She recruited 30 distributors and over 40 customers in 1 month because she had this buildup, right? So another thing is, look at what you've done already. That's your record. You should have a record board hanging up in your house, like the most customers you've ever signed in a day, the most distributors you've ever signed in a day, the most distributors your team has ever signed in a day, and the most customers your team has ever signed in a day, the most volume you've ever done in a day, and the most volume your team's ever done in a day. Because what's cool about records and having them where you can see them is records are made to be broken. And when you look at that and you go, wow, I recruited 3 distributors in one day. Well, if you did it once, you can do it again, right? That's what's so cool about this. So have these things around you. That's why we do dream boards. We do dream boards because it gets us thinking about beginning with the end in mind, right? Because we know what we want to do and accomplish through 2020. And then we have these weekly records, these daily records, because now we know we're competing with ourselves. You don't want to get competing with your sideline and stuff because they're a different age than you. They got a different background than you. Maybe they had a better start because family encouraged them more when they were starting. We're all at different levels on our personal development, depending on how we grew up. And so we can't really, it's not fair to compare apples to oranges, is it? So what you can compare is your yesterday self with your today self and your tomorrow self. You can do that. And that's fun because you can guarantee improvement on a daily basis if you're intentional about it. Okay, so the urgency. Today is the most important day. Goals. You can't just say them one time or put them online one time. You got to have them all over your house. You got to have your goals sitting on the outside of your refrigerator, on the inside of your refrigerator. You can put it on your ceiling when you wake up in the morning, on your mirror in the bedroom, on your mirror in the bathroom. When people come to your house, they should think you're crazy. They should be like, in your car, you want to turn it into your drive time university, right? For a season, I would take most of the music out, maybe do some worship music in the morning to get you in the right spirit, in the right mood. But you should have personal development playing in the car, podcasts. When people get in your car with you and they're like, can we listen to music? You should be like, no, not during this 90 days. This is my 90 days. And if they think you're crazy, that means you're on the right track. Okay? You're not going to go from where you are now and making 5, 6, 10 times your income by not being a little crazy, not a little radical, right? It's just what has to be done. And it's the fastest way to do it is all in 90 days will get you there. Again, whatever your goal is, like maybe you're making $2,000 a month right now and you want 5. In the next 90 days, you could set yourself up where 5 becomes the minimum you ever make again for the rest of your life. And that's the importance. And you'll always be able to point back at this 90 days like we have. We still can point back to 2013 and say, before 2013, we never made 6 figures. After 2013, we've never made less. And that transitional of multiple 6 figures. And that transitional moment was that 90 days where we went all in. That's where everything changed, right? Okay. So you got to have your philosophy right. And there's more about that. I'll be posting some stuff in here too that'll kind of help you a little bit more. You kind of need to brainwash yourself. Now, I used to think of brainwashing as such a negative term. It was associated with like, oh, you got to be in a cult. You're brainwashed. Oh, you're so positive all the time. What's wrong with that? Is there something wrong, really? I mean, the world says don't get your hopes up. I say, what else do you got to get up? If you can't get your hopes up, you can't get nothing. You got nothing. So you got to get your hopes up and you got to stay excited. And if you don't like where you are right now with the current way you're seeing the world and the current use of your brain, then you might want to wash it a little bit. I knew I needed to wash mine for like 5 straight years. I was like, wash it. Oh, it needs another shower. Wash it. I'm like washing my body, like scrubbing in my ears, trying to get my brain washed a little bit too, So brainwashing, it's okay as long as you're washing it with positive happiness. Like everybody wants to be happy, right? Power of life and death in the tongue. Be very careful. Don't sign people up and say, oh, she's probably never going to do anything. Oh my gosh. That's like self-sabotage. Who knows? Use your words to to speak what you want to happen. Use your words not to describe what you're seeing naturally right now. Use your words to describe where you want to go and what's going to happen. And I promise you there's power. Jot down Nightingale. What's his first name? Earl Nightingale. Okay. Earl Nightingale, The Strangest Secret. It's like 30 minutes long. You should be listening to that multiple times a week. That will explain what I'm talking about, because even a negative thought sows a negative seed, and negative seeds sometimes grow into something and you don't want it. It's like having a garden and going out there and taking dandelions or some kind of crazy growing weed and just tossing them in there too while you're watering your garden. No one in their right mind would do that, right? And you would never let your neighbor come over and start dumping his garbage cans in your yard. So we got to guard our minds. You can't let people dump garbage in your head. You literally have to protect your mind from garbage, because it's garbage in, garbage out, right? If you're a negative thinker, it's because you were fed that. You were spoon-fed that growing up. Maybe some people you're just told you're a no good son of a gun, or you're not going to amount to nothing, or who do you think you are? Someone in our family, we just don't do great things. Don't keep your pie in the sky, head in the clouds, all these types of things, right? And so you have to put in the new thoughts. Don't watch too much news. News it's depressing. It talks about how many people died today and who's mad at who and who's talking about this and what, and all this gossip. And don't be watching Jerry Springer during your 90 days. Don't. There's so much great, exciting, positive stuff out there. Go read about like what Walt Disney did, right? Go read about Denzel Washington. Listen to some of his speeches. Listen to some Will Smith stuff. Listen to some Les Brown and some Jim Rohn and some Rachel, whatever her name is, the girl Wash Your Face girl. She's got a podcast. It's amazing. There's all this stuff out there that's just going to encourage you, inspire you. And then out of the overflow of that, when you're feeling great and you share with people why you're feeling great, that's attractive and people are going to want to join you. I talked to a buddy of mine. He's in a different company, but I talked to him last night. And he's been through like 4 companies, and he finally found one with the last 72 hours. He's earned more money than he earned, or like half the money in the last 72 hours that he's earned the last 2 years. And he's stoked. And when I listen to him on the phone, I'm like, dude, you're so excited, man. You just need to call everyone you know right now, because everyone wants to feel like you feel. You guys getting where I'm going with this? It doesn't matter. When you feel good and you're happy and you're excited about life, it doesn't really matter what you say, because people want to just be around you because they want to feel like you feel. So that's a huge part of this. Okay, the activity. So activity, what we teach on our team all the time is properly educate people and collect their decisions, right? Properly educate people and collect their decisions. When I say educate, we have products and we have an opportunity. Educate people on our products and on our opportunity. Now, the details in that, it depended on your personality. Some of you could just do pop-ups and that's it and build an ambassador diamond. Some of you don't want to do pop-ups, and you don't have to, and you can still build an ambassador diamond. You can do ambassador diamond behind your phone, with your phone and with Connect app and with texting and messaging and that kind of stuff all day long. Okay, so the point here is that you're talking to new people every day. I'll tell you 3 things right here. Exposure is everything. Exposure is everything. That means you have to be talking to new people every day and exposing them to the information so they can get educated on it, so they can make an educated decision. So exposure is everything. The fortune is in the follow-up. So you have to follow up, because every person's not, how many of you, didn't join the first time you heard about It Works? Most of us, right? You had to hear about it 10, 15, some of you for 2 years before you finally joined, right? But you joined. So you got to understand it's a process. It's a process. If you're speaking to someone, or you're sharing a video with them, or doing a call with an upline, or taking them to an event, average 4 to 6 exposures. So you want to be the first person to talk to someone and the last person to talk to someone. That's why the fortune is in the follow-up. Now, on that piece, following up is simple. All you're going to do is do what you said you're going to do. So if I'm talking to one of you and, we got on a phone call and we're talking, and then I always end every single call or every single exposure with it on a scale of 1 to 10, right? On a scale of 1 to 10, with 1, you're ready to join, or 1, you're not interested at all, and 10, you're ready to join today. What number are you at? That's a fair question I'm taking their temperature. If they're a 10, great, let's get you signed up. If they're an 8, I'm going to say, okay, what's it need? What do you need to get to a 10? And usually it's something like, well, I just need to get paid, or I need to make sure it's okay with my spouse, or whatever reason. It doesn't matter, right? If they're a 2, then I might say something like, well, do you think I could share some more info with you and you'd be at like a 5 or 6, or you just think this isn't for you? Because I'm not in the business of begging people. I understand I'm sorting through the deck, and in a deck of cards, there's only 4 aces. Those are the distributors. There's only 12 face cards. Those are the loyals. There's a whole lot of people that aren't interested, and that's fine. They just don't, they're happy with their health, or they're happy with their life, or they just don't want extra income. They don't want extra. I'm not going to try and take that 2 of hearts and erase the heart and turn it into a diamond, and erase the 2 and turn it into an ace. See how much time that takes? Instead, I could just be, oh, it is what it is. It's just 2 of hearts. Let me go talk to the next person, talk to the next person, talk to the next person, and constantly sorting through the people. So exposure is everything. The fortune is in the follow-up. And then work with the willing. See, you can't build the Ruby and just start hammering your 3 distributors, trying to make them do what they're not going to do. You keep sowing. You keep working. You go recruit 3 more, then 3 more, then 3 more. That's why we have the steps to the success. Do you guys know I've never met anybody in 7 years in this company that have done 3 distributors and 4 customers for a year straight and not been at least double diamond? Never. Not one. Everywhere I go, I've asked people, have you heard of anybody that's done steps for a year straight and not been at least double diamond? I've never. It's because someone will do double, or they'll do steps for 2 or 3 months, and then they won't do anything for like a month or 2. And then they start over. And it's like the popcorn. They got to start from scratch again, because you got to have the commitment and the discipline, and you got to get off the runway. Okay, you got to get off the runway. That's why the 90 days is huge. And what's cool, in the 90 days, your popcorn's popping. Now you can celebrate for 2 or 3 weeks, and you'll come back and your income went up. Why? Because of the momentum, because you've got the unstoppable momentum that you created. Now you can't take 2, 3, 4 months off, because then you get to start all over again. Then you go from Ruby to double back to Ruby, and you get to go, oh, wow, what happened? Well, you took the foot off the pedal for too long, right? It's work hard, play hard, give back. It's not work hard, play hard, play hard, play hard, give back, give back, give back. Oh, wait, now I go work hard again. That's like being on the elevator. So this company has 8 levels, right? The 8th level is ambassador. If you go to like double diamond, which would be, executive, ruby, emerald, diamond. So 5th floor, and you get off on the floor, like you don't want to get off the elevator. If you get off the elevator, then you find when you get back on the elevator, you're like, how'd I go from floor 5 down to floor 3? You got to work your way back up to floor 5. Okay. So you got to understand that there's a time where you have the fruits of your labor. The popcorn keeps popping, but it doesn't keep popping for another 90 seconds. Popcorn keeps popping for like another 15 seconds when you stop the microwave. So details are the activity. I mean, some people don't like cold messages. So if you don't like cold messages, don't do cold message. If you like pop-ups and wrap parties, do it. If you don't like it, then don't do that part. Do the part that you were built to do, that you like to do. The key is that you're doing something, right? The key is that you're going out there and you're introducing It Works to brand new people. And guys, with social media today, I mean, go join some groups. If you join groups and add value to groups, you'll start getting friend requests. You won't have to friend request. Find ways to get people to friend request you. Think about that for a second. Find ways to get people to follow you. And now they're interested in you. And you guys know when you go live on Instagram, it notifies every single person who's following you. So go live. Go live on Facebook. Now, if that terrifies you, you can do it without going live, but it's going to be a whole lot easier if you just go live, right? Go live, just making your coffee. I love my coffee. Somebody's going to message you. What's coffee? That's an easy one. You're making your coffee anyway. You might as well just share it.
It was my word that popped.
Yeah, that's right.
It popped.
That's funny. Somebody talking about popping popcorn in the background. How am I doing on time? Oh my gosh, I got to get going here. So warm message, cold messages, try it. Use the Connect app. And when Cammie or Pam does a try it video presentation, get people to watch that. You know what? If you get half the people you get to watch that are going to become a customer distributor. So what would happen if you just got really, really good at getting people to watch a try it video that Cammie or Pam did. Pam just did an awesome one last month. And how do you get them to watch that? You say, hey, you have a little conversation, you get them curious. You say, if I sent you a 30-minute video, would you watch it? Ask that all day long. Yes. You send it to them. And you ask them, when will you have watched this by? Tonight, tomorrow. Okay. So if I contact you tomorrow at 2, you think you'll have a chance to have seen it by then? Yeah, great. Now your follow-up is scheduled. See, you never want to leave a conversation with them saying, I'll get back with you if I liked it. No, you don't do that. Professionals schedule the next exposure. So any one of you, if I shared a video, if I sent you a video, I'm going to say, hey, Elizabeth. I see Elizabeth Gassner's on. I'm going to say, hey, Elizabeth, if I sent you this video, it's about 30 minutes long. Would you watch it? She's going to say, yeah, sure. I'm going to say, okay, well, I'm going to get it to you here in a few minutes. When can you watch it for sure? For sure. That's the verbiage, right? When can you watch it for sure? And she's going to say, I can watch it tonight. I'm like, awesome. So would it be better if I got back in touch with you tonight or tomorrow? Tomorrow. Okay, is morning or afternoon better? Afternoon. 2 or 3 o'clock? 2 o'clock. Now I have an appointment set with Elizabeth, and all I'm going to do is honor my commitment by contacting her at 2 o'clock. And all I'm going to say is, hey, did you watch that video? That's it. And she's going to say yes or no. And if she says no, go back. Okay, well, when can you watch it for sure? You guys see where I'm going here? When can you watch it for sure? Later this afternoon. Okay, so do you have any free time tonight? Yeah, it would be better if I call you at 6 or 7. Or it would be better if I text you at 6 or 7. It would be better if I PM you 6 or 7. She gives me a time. Hey, did you watch it yet? Yes. And if she says no, I'm going to keep doing this forever until she watches it, because I'm going to sell. All I'm trying to do is educate her. Do you guys think if someone watches a 30-minute video Pam did, they're going to be educated by the time they watch it? Of course. Cammie, Pam, it's in the Connect. It's so easy to access. So now when she says yes, now here's what I say. What did you like the most about it? Right? Or what made the most sense to you? See, I'm asking a question that requires a positive response. Okay? See, if I talk to someone and I say, what'd you think? Right? If you say, what'd you think? They could say, oh, I was kind of annoyed. There's a little static in the background, or, I didn't like the whatever. It's just, the conversation can go some crazy way. So if you keep it, narrow it down, right? And you just say, what did you like the most? Now they're going to tell you more about their personality, right? We know we have 4 colors. They're going to tell you more because Pam, see, if you watch those, Pam and Cammie are talking to all 4 different personality types as they go through those. So if they come back and they're like, oh, it just sounds like so much fun. It'd be so exciting. Now you know they're more focused on the fun piece. If they say, oh my gosh, it sounds like you can make unlimited money. Now you know they're more red and they're focused on the money piece. If they're more about the gives back and the helping people with their health, and they're using the word help, they're more yellow. If they've got 1,000 questions, then that's fine. They're green, right? So just by asking that one question, what'd you like the most? You know so much. See, this girl's blue over here. She's just giggling it up right now. Chanel, she's just laughing. So you know so much though by just asking, what did you like the most? And then you're just going to talk about that with them. Talk about what they like the most. Ask if you have any questions. If they have questions, that's a great time to transition into introducing them to your sideline, introducing them to your upline, introducing them to a friend of yours that's in the company. Because every time you introduce a prospect to another person, it adds credibility to the entire company, right? When they see Pam on a video, and then they see Cammie on a video, and then they talk to your upline Ruby, who says, I made $500, just on the side with this. And they go, oh. And it just adds credibility, adds credibility, adds credibility. It walks them down the process of becoming a customer or becoming a distributor. And then at the end of every conversation, on a scale of 1 to 10, 1, not interested at all. This is a joke. To 10, you're all in. You want to join right now. What number are you at? And they're going to let you know. So just these little tiny things, you say them over and over all day. So what our goal was when we did that crazy run, and I'll tell you, there was times I talked to so many people because we just decided we were going to get people on the phone. I was like, I know if we get people on the phone and talk to them, they'll hear our excitement. They'll want to get involved. And so let's get them on the phone. So our goal every day was to get 3 to 5 personal prospects on the phone and 3 to 5 calls with our team's prospects on the phone. That was the goal. So here's what I can tell you. Half the people, oh, Pamela, you just shared your screen accidentally, I think. I think you could just hit unshare there. Thank you. So half the people are going to cancel. Okay, so if 10 people typically average, if 10 people told you they're going to answer the phone today at whatever time, half of them won't answer when you call because you just have to plan for that. So if you want to talk to 5 people on the phone, you got to have 10 appointments on the calendar. You want to talk to 5 of your team's people on the phone, you got to have 10 appointments scheduled on the calendar. And there's little things you can do to make sure more people answer that don't answer and that sort of thing. But just understand that for now. So if that was your goal to educate 5 new people a day via the phone, then you got to have 10 on the schedule that way. Now, let's say you don't like the phone. Some people don't do phone. That's fine. I know people who have built to crazy levels didn't do phone. You can do video chat, where you could just record yourself quick on a video, little quick video, and send it to somebody. Or maybe you don't want people to know what you look like for whatever reason. I don't know. You can just voice memo then, right? And worst case, you can text, but a voice memo is better than text. A video chat's better than voice memo. So you get what I'm saying here, right? Each one's a little bit better, but start where you're at and ask someone, or believe me or don't believe me. You could do it all from text. It's just a little bit harder than if people get to see your face, because when they see your face and they see your excitement, then they're going to be more likely to feel it and get excited too. Okay, so that was our daily. So team, so you have to get in that discipline and the habit of inspiring your team daily. Okay, you don't have to inspire every person on your team daily, but you have to have a way. And even if it's everyone's in a chat and you're like, hey guys, here's our 5-minute daily inspiration that you've listened to, and you providing value for your team to help them grow also. Okay, so you have to do that. Now, one of the things that we did is we would have a weekly, it started off back in the day being a phone call. So for our team, we would have a weekly call, and then we started doing a weekly Zoom, right? And on these, all we're doing is we're trying to add value, and sometimes it's based off what the company just released, sometimes it's based off the mood of the team, but we're always just adding value, training on something on a weekly basis. So you want to inspire your team daily, but have a place, and you might already have an upline, and all you got to do is promote that, right? To bring everybody. We didn't start doing our own weekly call until we had 15 people that would show up on it. We'd start doing our own call at that point. So, and ask your upline's advice on that, like when you should start maybe your own team page or when you should start your own call. But your team needs to have something to plug into weekly, okay? Very, very important. And you have to be dependable and consistent. You guys want to become like a lighthouse. We know if you go and you travel somewhere and you see a lighthouse, if you go back in 10 more years, you're going to see the lighthouse still there, right? You want to become that safe place of stability for your team where they can trust you and they can depend. You don't want to set up 3-way calls and you don't answer. Don't do that, because they'll never put you on a 3-way call again, right? You don't want to say we have a team Zoom tonight at 8 and then 7:30 you cancel it and you go, I'm not feeling it tonight. You don't want it. You got to be the lighthouse. If you want to build something amazing with this, you have to be dependable and stable. You have to be what you want your upline to be, okay? And if your upline's not that, become what you think they should be, all right? It's really important because ultimately you are the CEO of your multi-million-dollar corporation, and so you have to start thinking like that if that's what you want. Now, if this is play money on the side, I assume you wouldn't jump on here early in the morning and listen to me jabber for 55 minutes. Oh my gosh, it's been 55. I got a lot to go through. Okay. Game plan weekly. Now I do this on Sundays. On Sunday night, you have to have a game plan. And this game plan is simple. It's called plan, do, review. Plan, do, review. You can come up with a game plan interview sheet for yourself. It might look like, how many distributors am I going to enroll this week? How many customers am I going to enroll this week? How much is my GV going to go up? How many, Zooms am I going to do with prospects or whatever your metric is. So set that up. That's your plan. Do your plan. And at the end of the week, review your plan. Did you accomplish what you wanted to accomplish? Why or why not? Did you get the results that you're looking for? Because sometimes you might have to kick it up. You might go, it's just, I didn't get the 200 volume a day. I've only been getting 100 a day. Well, something in the plan has to change. Right? So if you do this on a weekly basis, it's plan, do, review. It's kind of like a rocket. So if here's Earth and here's the moon, A rocket ship on the way to the moon is off track 97% of the time. It starts drifting, right? And they have to do the calculations over. Oh, crap, we're drifting. Okay, now we're back on track. Oh, wait. Oh, crap, we're drifting. So you have to constantly be adjusting. And so my recommendation is that you're adjusting your plan on a weekly basis. Now, don't get caught up in flavor of the month stuff. Like, oh, now our team is going to, we're going to do this, or we're going to do a click funnel, and now we're going to do this, and now we're going to do this new page and another new page. And because you want to get your team focused, you want to keep things simple so it can be duplicatable, because you want to teach to teach to teach to teach. So when you're doing something a month later, someone on your 12th level is doing the same thing and it's working. There's certain things that work all the time, and there's certain things that the seasons come and go, where it works real well and it doesn't work. And so do the things that work all the time, which is humans communicating with humans, right? Humans educating humans. We have tools the company gives us, like in the Connect app. There's scripts in there. Like, all the tools you need are in the Connect app. Now, your upline might give you some other videos that are great, some other stuff you can use to add to your toolbox. But if you're looking at a foundation, the company knows what they're doing. So when you go in that Connect app, those are things that have been put in there because they've already been tried and tested and they work. So use that as like your core of your toolbox, okay? The try-its are huge. Anytime you can plug people into what Cammie's doing and saying, remember, Cammie went Black Diamond as a distributor before she joined corporate. So she knows what she's doing. Pam knows what she's doing. So utilize those tools. Journal. You want to journal at all? My first journal coming out of that first conference I shared with you guys, I sat down and I said, what scares me the most? And I said, 18 months to ambassador and $50,000 paycheck. And that was when we were making $2,000 as a diamond. And we did it in 15 months. But I journaled it every day. I was in there like, this many people joined the team. I did a 3-way call with this person. This is her background. I'm so excited about her. And then you just watch it. And then in the journal too, I would have, this is how many distributors we need to have structure done. This is how much more volume we need this month, breaking it down, how many days left in the month, how much volume needed. This is how much volume we need a day. And I was adjusting that daily and just watching. Like, one of them was like, we need 60 some distributors to join our team by the end of the month. I think going for triple or whatever. And then you go a few days and it's like, wow, now we're in the 50s. Now we're in the 40s. Oh, wow, we dropped from 42 to 29 in like 2 days. It's just crazy how, again, the urgency and the focus and making each day count, it's mind-blowing how much your chart can change, how fast it'll change when you're paying attention and you're being intentional with urgency. Okay? So details that'll help. Accountability partners. If you have someone that you're communicating with daily, like a sideline, maybe if you're Ruby, someone else that's Ruby, and you're both pushing for double diamond by the end of your 90-day run, find someone else who wants to be double diamond. Find someone else that you can talk to every day. That'll be your workout partner. That'll pick you up when you're down and you pick them up when they're down. Have somebody that you're connected to. And you might even want to have 3 or 4 people. Like, maybe a few of you are in a little group. And that way, you're pulling people through and you're helping each other through. And all that is accountability. Is at the end of the day saying, here's what I did today. What'd you do today? Here's what I did today. What'd you do today? Your partner doesn't show up for a couple days. Hey, what's going on? It's probably because they didn't do what they know they should do. Say, hey, it's okay. It's okay. Let's get it going. You got to start. You got to keep it going. Can't quit now, right? Remember, the kids want to go to Disney. Remember what you promised your husband, that new truck? Come on, you got to keep going, right? So accountability partners, expectation is invitation. Again, your mind, expect good things to happen. Wake up in the morning and say, God, what miracles do you have for me today? How am I going to make today my masterpiece? What awesome things, what new, incredible human being is going to come into my life today? Who am I going to meet that I can make a difference in their life and change their life forever? Who is that person today? Who's the one? Who's the one that I get to meet today and I can add value to their life and help them out, right? Think that way. I wrote down here, new life is only created through labor, right? You guys agree with that? That's truth, right? New life is only created through labor pains. And so there's going to be some labor pains through this process. It's necessary. If you want to give birth to that double or triple diamond, you got to go through it. You got to go through the stretching. You mamas know what I'm talking about. You stretched. You had crazy, want pickles at 2 a.m. You know, you're gonna have some stuff that's gonna happen along the way, but it's worth it. I promise you, it's worth it. It's worth it to be able to have the freedom that this company will give you. Totally worth it. Fear not. Don't be anxious. Philippians 4, 6, and 7. You guys need to like print that off, write it down, have it next to your goals everywhere. Elijah wants to say hi.
Hi.
This is my little guy who's 2. I told you the story at the beginning. He just turned 9
Yep.
a few weeks ago. 9 years old. That's
Yep.
Clifford.
Yep.
I'll show Clifford. He's awesome. He's an awesome kid.
Awesome.
Well, you're awesome.
Yeah.
Clifford's okay too, but you're awesome.
Yeah.
So Philippians 4, 6, and 7 says, do not be anxious about anything, but in everything through prayer and petition with thanksgiving. That's the type of prayers, that's bold prayers where you're already thanking God for your prayers coming true because you know he loves you and you know that you're a son or daughter of a king. That makes you a princess or a prince, right? So do not be, that's a command to obey. Do not be anxious about anything. That means if you're feeling anxious, you got to take that thought captive. You got to take it captive. You have to push it into a corner and understand that that's a fight that we all go through forever. As you go to the higher levels, there's always that same gnawing thing there that's going to try and get you a little anxious, try and get you a little fearful. So that's a cornerstone scripture for me is do not be anxious about anything, but in everything through prayer and petition with thanksgiving, present your request to God, and the peace of God that transcends all understanding will guard your hearts and your minds in Christ Jesus. That's where you get where there's total chaos around you and you can be like James Bond, calm, cool, and collected. You're like, hey, you might be freaking out. They might be freaking out. The tornado might be a mile down the road, but I know God's got this and I'm not going to waste that energy freaking out about it, right? There's a way to get to that place, and it's right in that scripture. The formula is in the scripture, how to not be anxious. It's right there. So just write it down, keep it in front of you when you feel anxious, fearful. Read that. Another really good one is 2 Timothy 1:7. It just says God has not given us a spirit of fear and timidity. So sometimes if you feel like, well, that's just the way I was made, that's just my personality. Nope, it's not. That's a lie. You were not created to be fearful or timid. It's right in the Bible, 2 Timothy 1:7. So have that one down. You start feeling fearful or nervous or timid. You weren't created to feel that way. That's a self-imposed limitation that you can work through, right? You don't have to be. Back in the day, I was scared to death to talk in front of an audience. I was the guy like in high school and college when I had to get in front of the class and give a 2 or 3 minute speech. Like I was trying to find reasons to not go to school that day. I was like, can I please get sick? I don't want to go to school. I don't want to do this. I'm terrified. Well, I worked through that. I ended up being an acting major in college where I had to do big, long, when you're an actor, you get in front of a lot of people, do a lot of stuff, right? I was scared of heights, scared to death of heights, like so scared. I'd look over a balcony and like, ah. So I made myself go to air assault school in the Army and airborne school, jumping out of helicopters and airplanes. And I'm still scared to death. I mean, every single time I didn't want to do it. I get to the door. I had 42 jumps in the Army. I get to the door and not want to do it. And I'm like, I just got to do it. I got soldiers. I can't not do it. I got it. And just, I'm so stupid. Why am I doing this again? Right? So I want you guys to understand that on the other side of fear is great things. Everything you've ever wanted is on the other side of your fear and on the other side of your timidity, and you can get through it. You can get through it because so many others have conquered it, and you can too. Okay? So let me start wrapping this up here. I'll give you when this person stops calling me, some things that help you understand the difference between wealthy people and poor people. I think that's important. There's people that have studied for years. How does a wealthy person live? How does a poor person live? Right? That's fair. And then I'll give you a couple things to kind of summarize this. And we really don't have time for questions, but if you guys want to message me, or maybe we can do a Q&A, or I didn't go live with this one. Just message me if you have questions, or maybe we'll do a Q&A one later. And I'll bring Joel and Tay on here, and then we can all do a Q&A for 90-day run. So let me read these to you. Let's see here. Okay, so here's some stats. You guys might agree with some, you might not agree with some. It's just the information, so I'm going to share it, okay? 70% of wealthy eat less than 300 junk food calories per day. 97% of poor people eat more than 300 junk food calories per day. 23% of wealthy gamble, 52% of poor people gamble. So basically that's saying it more poor people gamble than wealthy people. And so they kind of blow their money on things they shouldn't, right? And then junk food. So I'm going to stop the commentary because there's a lot of these. 80% of wealthy are focused on accomplishing some single goal. Only 12% of the poor do this. 76% of wealthy exercise aerobically 4 days a week. 23% of poor do this. 63% of wealthy listen to audiobooks during commute to work versus 5% of poor people. That's a big one. 81% of wealthy maintain a to-do list versus 19% of poor. 63% of wealthy parents make their children read 2 or more nonfiction books a month versus 3% of poor. My older son, he can earn $50 I have a list of books, and when he reads them, he gives me a report, a one-page report. I pay him $50. So for you, it might be like whatever your child would like that would get them to do that. So I read the books, and then I have the list, and then my son reads them, and then we have conversations, and he's 15. So it's changed how he views life. Go through a few more. 63% of wealthy parents make their children. I already read that one. All right. 67% of wealthy write down their goals versus 17% of poor. How hard is it just to write them down, right? 88% of wealthy read 30 minutes or more each day for education or career versus 2% of poor. So reading is huge, right? Reading. 6% of wealthy say what's on their mind versus 69% of poor. That's a good one, right? Because sometimes if you're saying something and you're being crude about it, if you're solving a problem, you can get away with it sometimes. But if you're just being crude to be crude, all you do is upset people, and no one wants to hear that or be around that. No one wants to hear an unsolicited opinion. They just don't. 79% of wealthy network 5 hours or more each month versus 16% of poor. A lot of is your network. It's who you know. I go to things all the time just to meet people, right? Just to go learn something new and meet new people. 67% of wealthy watch 1 hour less of television every day versus 23% of poor. 6% of wealthy watch reality TV, 78% of poor. 44% of wealthy wake up 3 hours before work starts. Wow, versus 3% of poor. I guess I'm supposed to get up at 3:30 I can't get up 3:30 every day. That's not happening. I'm a hard no to that one. That's just the rebel in me, though. 74% of wealthy teach good daily success habits to their children versus 1% of poor. 84% of wealthy believe good habits create opportunity luck versus 4% of poor. 76% of wealthy believe bad habits create detrimental luck versus 9% of poor. See, it's this idea of luck, which they're kind of getting into right here. It's not really luck. I mean, you can create your own luck by positioning yourself in front of opportunity, right? You'll meet those people and it's like everything they touch turns to gold. Well, it's because they've prepared their mind to see the opportunity, so everything they touch is successful. There's a big difference. 86% of wealthy believe in lifelong educational self-improvement versus 5% of poor. That's probably the one that I would say has been the biggest game changer for me personally. 86% of wealthy love to read versus 26% of poor. If you find the right author, you'll love to read. Sometimes it's just searching through. I love Jim Rohn. I consume I've got like all of his books, all of his CDs, all of his stuff. Love that guy. I even was recently on a Zoom with a guy who co-wrote a book. His name's Chris Widener, co-wrote the book with Jim Rohn called 12 Pillars, which is an awesome book. And then the guy that is Jim Rohn's marketing guy, he marketed with him for 18 years, like set up all his events and did all that. I'm in his inner circle. So I actually went early this year and hung out with him in Texas and hung out with him in Pennsylvania. I'm in this group with him. I'm meeting a lot of the people in his group. So when you find people you love, even though they don't know you, you can still be like their friend because you can learn everything about them. You can learn about their kids and their wife and their family and who they hang out with. And they are able to influence you that way. So, find 2 or 3 people who you just love and follow them, follow their podcast and learn about them. Anyway, that's enough. It just goes, there's a few more, whatever, it goes on and on. But guys, I hope that this added some value to you. So kind of to summarize it all, claim your rank, let everyone know what it is. Put it on Facebook, put it on your mirror, talk to your spouse about it, talk to everyone about it. So talk to your whoever's negative in your family, let them know about it. Just message them. Like, I just want to let you know, here's what I'm going to do with my business and they're going to be like, whatever. Yeah, sure you are. Whatever. Sure you are. That one person might be the one reason that you stick it out when you don't want to, because you'll be just stubborn enough to go, oh, I can't face them. If I give up again, I won't be able to look. I have to skip all next year. I won't even be able to go see them because of that. You'll stick it out because the reasons for you to keep going have to be stronger than the excuses to quit, because the excuses are going to be there. They're always going to be there. So you got to have strong. You have to build up, stack on top of your reasons. You have to involve what you want, what your kids want, what your spouse wants, what your family doesn't think you can do, what your negative friend that, blocked you on Facebook because they said, oh, I can't believe whatever. You got to use all that as fuel to get your popcorn to stay popping for 90 days. And if you do all this for 90 days, your life will change so much that you'll want to do another 90 days. Okay. So claim your rank by March 31st. Have some accountability partners that you're going to share with on a regular daily basis. Write out your philosophies. Think out your philosophies. Like me, I believe profits are better than wages. See, I can never go back and get another job because I know that no one is willing to pay me what I feel like I am worth now after being an entrepreneur for long enough. I can't go into any job and say, hey, can I work part-time for $100 an hour? They're just not going to do it, right? So one of my philosophies is that profits are better than wages, okay? And that people don't care how much I know until they know how much I care. So that's a driving philosophy. So when I start a new relationship with someone, I feel like we're opening an emotional bank account, a relational bank account, and I have to deposit before I ever think about asking for a withdrawal, because I want them to know that I care, and I do care. I mean, I have people that come into our team and they're here for a season and they leave, and I still help them out. I still give them advice. I still reach out to them and check in on them, right? So it's got to be part of your philosophy. Like I subscribe to Yoda. There is no try, only do. I hate the word try. When people say they're going to try something, I'm like, that's like saying, I'm going to try and pick up this pencil. Either pick it up or don't pick it up. It's decide. You know the word decide? There's the word homicide, which is death to someone else. There's the word suicide, which is death to self. And there's the word decide, which is the death to all other options. When you decide something, there's no going back. You're going to do it. It's like you're telling life, I'm going to the top of the mountain, or you're going to find me dead on the side, because I ain't coming back down till I go to the top. And when you do that, it's like life and circumstances, and they all come together and they have a meeting and they say, she's going to die. So let's just let her have it. Let's let her have it. And when you're committed to that level where you're like, I am going to do this or die, right? And you'll do it. Plan or journal, document your journey, because someday you'll be able to open up. I could do a whole Zoom, just open up my planner and just say, listen, what I'm talking about today and tomorrow and where we are, where my mind was at. So do those things, guys. And by March 31st, matter of fact, if you want to, message me your goal by March 31st. And then when March 31st rolls around, I want to hear that you hit it. Okay. Because I know you all can, and I know some of you will. So I'm just honored that I was able to take a little time today. I think we had a couple hundred people on here. So I think 50, 60, 70 maybe people on here. You got some crazy goals and you're going to hit them. Statistically, only 10% of you are supposed to, only 20 on here are supposed to do it. Statistically, when you go to the gym on January 1st, only about 10% are actually going to do what they said they're going to do. But I believe that you guys are just stubborn enough to stick it out, right? You're just stubborn enough to fight through the pain and fight through, because you're going to be fighting with some friends. You're going to be fighting with some people, and just keep going and keep doing it, and begin with the end in mind, and keep the promise of the future in front of you. Keep your dream board in front of you. We're doing a dream board party on the 19th with our team. So make sure you get with some team, your spouse. What do you want to have accomplished by the end of 2020? How much income do you want to make in 2020? How much debt do you want to pay off in 2020? Do you need to move in 2020? You're not a tree. You can change your zip code if you want to, right? That's what's cool about being a human. We're not a tree. And you can change all this stuff. Maybe your parents need a new car. You just want to buy them a new car, right? My mom needed a new knee and they couldn't afford it. it was going to be like 10 grand outside of what insurance would pay. I said, Mom, don't even open the bills. Just send them to me. I don't care how much it is. Go get yourself a knee. I'll pay for it. We had some friends wanting to have a baby, but they had both been married before, and the husband had a vasectomy. And when they got married, they went to the cheapest guy, botched the job, messed it all up. And they said, we found another doctor, but it's going to be $30,000 to have this surgery. And we said, you know what? We believe in you guys. Go have it. They got a sweetest little 2-year-old girl you'd ever meet. And because we were able to invest and sow into that, right? And we've got, the nice house, and we have the stuff, and we able to homeschool, and I'm able to not be 7,300 miles away from this little dude anymore. That was important for me, And so you guys figure out what you want. It works as a vehicle that will get you there if you're willing to do the necessary things, and if you're willing to fight for your family, and you're willing to go through the stretching and the frustration and the stuff that it takes to have what you've never had before. You got to do what you've never done before. So hopefully I gave you some good tips today of things you can do to have and inspired you a little bit. I would love to hear from you. And again, Joel and myself, we'll be getting back. I think we're getting ready to go through a series where John Maxwell talks about 5 things every network marketer should do every single day. And I think we're going to start discussing those coming up in the next weeks. So Tuesdays and Thursdays, 7:30, 8:30, we're always here. We always record it. Make sure you can go back and use the resources however you want. I'll get this uploaded. Thank you guys again for jumping on. I hope I added value to your life today, and see you later.
Yeah. Bye-bye.